Welcome back to Calbros Podcast. Today we have Ajiri. Would you like to introduce yourself, my man?
Yeah, my name is Ajiri Alibo. I'm licensed insurance advisor. I'm based in Edmonton, Alberta, and I've been in the industry, the insurance and the financial industry for 4 years, and it's been a wonderful experience. My background is in HR. I've been an HR professional for over 10 years, and it's been a wonderful transition from HR to being a licensed insurance and financial advisor. So it's a wonderful experience so far.
Wow. Oh, that's amazing, bro. That's amazing. So, for those people who don't know, I'm also newly licensed, and me and Ajiri met at the convention that we have for the company that we work with. So, the first time we met was it was in Calgary, hey? So
Yes,
it was in Calgary the first time we met, and I was like, man, this guy is one of the very successful, life insurance agent that is out there. I'm like, man, I gotta talk to him because I gotta pick this guy's brain because this guy is he must know something that I don't know, So that's when I'm like, I gotta talk to this guy. So that's how we met, and then you know what? If I didn't come up and talk to you, I don't think me and you would be here sitting and doing this podcast. Hey.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah,
You know.
no, I don't think we would be here sitting down and actually having this conversation.
Mhm.
So, which is good, man. No, like I'm glad to have you on this podcast and this show. And to be honest, bro, for me, doing this podcast is just um, like I said, this is another way to share our knowledge and our wisdom to the world, in a way, right? Because there's no other way. I mean, you could talk to people and by meeting them in person, but honestly, through a recording, this is another way to reach out to different people, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
You know. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I totally agree with you, Ron. Yeah,
yeah,
I can't agree more. Yeah.
absolutely, man. So like let's start with like what motivated you and inspired you to become a life insurance agent.
Well, I get that question a lot. And honestly, I accidentally got into this industry. Let me put it that way.
Accidentally, hey? Would you
Yeah.
like to like explain like how why accidentally and how that happened?
Yeah, okay. I came into Canada as a new immigrant in 2019. And 4 months into coming to Canada, someone approached me from my place of work, my colleague, and talked to me about having an insurance plan. I said, oh, it's a good idea, right? We need to protect our family, and that was
I
one of the
agree. Yeah.
things put me in there, right? So then I now asked, just to know how come you're doing this part-time? Like, it makes sense to do something extra, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so at that time, they introduced the business opportunity to myself and my wife. But my wife was the one who started it because my hands were full. You know, I got a job in HR and I was managing a big office, and it was so demanding. I didn't want to take anything extra on myself, right? So,
Right.
but my wife couldn't pull through with the whole thing because she had a personal situation she had to deal with, medically. But I now realize that I could learn something new, right?
Right.
Um, because I had done HR, which was a routine work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So right.
It's a
So I now said, okay, let me learn something new, at least in the finance industry. And
right.
that was how I started studying. And I was studying, I was like, wow, this is mind blowing. How come
Yeah.
lots of people don't know about this?
Right.
So I got so excited about it. Then I pulled through, I went through the exams and I passed the exams. And I was so excited to share more about life insurance, investments with my network.
Right.
So So what became an accident became a blessing at some point. So
Got it. Man,
yeah.
that's amazing to hear, like that's amazing to hear, especially like you coming as an immigrant. Like, like I'm also the same situation as you, where I'm also an immigrant, but it's just that I came here earlier than you did, right? Because
Well.
you came to Canada like how old were you when you came to Canada? Like if you don't mind.
So do you want to guess my age around? How old would you say I am right now?
Mid 30s right now.
Oh wow, I look that young.
You look very
So,
young. I can tell you that right now. Yeah.
so
I
I was
guess
around.
wrong.
Yes, kind of.
Higher? Higher? Lower?
Yeah, so I'm 42 now.
42. Wow.
Yeah, so 2019 was about 4 years ago, right? So
Wow.
do the maths
Bro. So you came here 38.
around that time.
38
Yeah.
years. Wow. And then right now, you're very successful in the industry, hey?
Well,
Well,
I would. Okay, go ahead.
sorry to cut you off, but like you didn't start that long ago, right? You've only been in the industry for maybe was it 2 years?
Four
But
years. 4 years.
4 years. No, that's in Canada, right? 4 years in Canada.
Yes,
But
and 4 years industry too,
oh,
because
you're also 4 years in. Wow.
it was the same year I came into Canada. I
Right.
joined business,
Wow,
right?
that's
So
that's amazing. Yeah, but
yeah.
I would assume that, when you just started, it was very slow. It was very slow when you started, right?
Well,
Or were you
I
just like one of those people that are like, all right, let's go, let's grind and let's work. I can see it from
well,
you though. I think you're one of those people.
it all depends, right? For me, like I said, it was accidental,
Right.
and I just followed my mentors, right?
Right.
I asked lots of questions. People who
Right.
have been in the industry for a long time, just the same way you approached me, right?
Right.
That was how I approached lots of people who
Interesting.
I felt were successful. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why life, one way or the other, we need mentoring in every aspect of life, right?
I do
Because
agree.
there are lots of people who have made mistakes and we can learn from their mistakes. And so I reached out to people who are successful in the business and talked to them about some of the mistakes they made and what they could avoid. I learned from that. I'm not the type of person that learns something and do not implement
Right.
it immediately, right? People learn things and just keep it there,
That's true.
the notes and they keep those notes,
Man.
but I take
Y-
actions, so
That's yeah, and that's the key, right? That's so important. Like taking action is actually the most important thing. And
yes,
that's the key in not just like in this business, right? In I feel like it goes a long way with anything, any business that you wanna do, right?
I
Uh,
totally
yeah, like
agree.
you can't just know something and not take actions, and I do agree on that aspect. So, and man, that's a very humbling story, bro. Like you came here 4 years and you started off, and now that you are, very successful in the business, and obviously, like you mentioned, we all need mentors. And to be honest, man, like honestly, I would consider you as one of my mentor that I actually
Well,
look up to, right? Like I actually look up to you. So
thank you. Of
yeah, man, like I'm pretty sure you have some mentors yourself too, right? So
course.
like I think in order for anybody to be successful, you have to go out of your comfort zone and be able to have mentors and learn from your mentors, right? Because
Of
because
course.
because like those people probably learned something that they want to teach you, so you don't make the same mistake as they did, right?
That's exactly the point, right? That's why it's important to have, like you mentioned, like in any industry, you need that mentoring, right? But Ron, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, well, you've been successful in other areas, in gaming, in other parts of social media. Why do you like the business? What interests you about joining the insurance industry?
Okay, well, let's go back to my story. I know this is your first, and some of my listeners here on my podcast is probably they know me already as Ron, playing video games, doing many things. So actually, the funny thing is, um, I started in the business. Let's go back to how I started in business. So I started in the business. So June, right? Junior Alba. So he was the one who actually showed me the business opportunity. And the funny thing was that, if you don't know, I cut hair too. Like, I'm an unlicensed
Wow.
barber, right? So I don't have my license as a barber, but I do cut hair. And one day, because June is from Regina, right? He was in Regina at the time, and he came and he got a haircut from me. So I was just cutting his hair, and then we just started talking because I know what he did before as far as like career wise, career path. And then we just kind of started talking again, like, yeah, what are you up to now? What are you doing? So then he said, "Yeah, no, I'm in this industry now that I'm doing this full time." And the conversation started going, and then he then showed me the presentation, and that's how I learned. Right? I'm like, wow, I actually want to learn more about finance, and this is one of the because I grew up here. I basically started elementary school here, high school here, and that's one of the things that the school system don't teach.
Hmm.
They don't teach you about finance. It's like one of those things where people need to go find it, right? It's
Hmm.
not one of those things where the school will just be like, okay, guys, we're gonna teach you guys finance. So I actually was very interested. I'm like, how do we learn more about finance? How do we get off taxes when there's many ways out there when we could get off tax? And that was one of my reason why that I actually started getting in the business, right? So then that's when I started studying. And then at the time too, my wife now was pregnant at the time, and that's what kind of pushed me. And like, I'm gonna have a baby now, and I think um I need to do something where I can leave a legacy for my kid, obviously, because he's gonna grow up and he's gonna say that what does my dad do? What does he do? And why is our life like this? So, and that was my biggest reason why I signed up, and I actually did started the course, and that's when I started learning. But during the time when I started, it was the time close to my wife giving birth. So I didn't really do much at the beginning. I was just I would open the book here and there, and I would just like close it again because I would get busy with work because I'm still working full time and then doing all these things. So I was still
Wow.
doing that, and then when my baby came out, I even got more busy because you have a kid too, and you know how busy and lazy gets with the baby. So
Yeah.
I got really busy with my baby. So then after that, I was like, wow, like this is I actually need to finish this and actually get my license and actually learn more so then I can pursue this and choose this career path. So that's when I said, okay, I'm gonna take a few weeks off my work so then I can just focus on my family and just studying, right? Balance my time. So then I took a week off or two, and then that's when I got my license.
Wow.
Within a month, I got my license within a month from the time I actually started focusing to study.
That's
I fin
awesome.
Yeah. So I finish it with like you said, right? Like no, like you need to take actions. You can't just
Hmm.
know things and not take actions. So
Hmm.
I
What year
actually
was this? What year
this
was
was
this?
actually this year. This year. I
Wow.
I recently got my license, right? So from you remember when the time we met at the convention? That was I was just I just got my license 2 months before that.
Oh, wow.
So from today, it's probably like I have my license as of from 4 months now, 4 months. So I
Wow.
just got my license this year actually.
That's interesting. But
Yeah. So
how's it been so far, the experience so far?
to be honest, it's been good so far. Like honestly, as far as the learning process, like we have to learn and absorb it and take actions. And for me, honestly, the experience so far, I think it's good, right? Like it's always good to learn something new.
Hmm.
And like you said, we always need to find mentor, and which is why we're here today because I obviously look up to you and I want to learn more and how to be successful in the business. And you know what? That is one of the key that or that is one of the thing that I want to be good at, right? I don't just want to stay at a place where I'm at today. I actually want to grow and I want to be successful one day. But like to be successful, what it takes is you got to be consistent, right?
Yeah.
And actually put that into work. So honestly, right now, I've been it's been good so far, I would say. I still have my full-time job. Like my full-time job is amazing. I would
Mm-hmm.
not like it's a very good job that I'm in right now. I feel like let's put it this way. What I do for a living today, I know millions of people would fight for my spot in my life
Mm-hmm.
today.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just put it that way. Like that's what I do, and I know lots of people would do anything just so then they can have the life I have right now. And like what you did, you started part time in the business, and
Mm-hmm.
that is me right now. I'm just starting part time for now, and maybe hopefully one day, eventually, I want to do it full time. But honestly, I try to put as much hours as I could in the business, and I tried to
Mm-hmm.
put as much as I could in in this field, and actually put time and effort in. So
Okay.
and it's a work in progress. So right now, I'm at that point where I'm keep working, keep learning, and because I feel like in this industry, it's a constant learning. It's not like you get your degree and you go work 8 to 5.
So Ron,
It's
just to tell the audience, like, what's your age group? If I want to put you, or what's your age right now, if you don't mind?
so my I'm right now I'm still 24,
Wow.
24 years old.
Wow. So let's just tell our audience what to expect from this podcast because
I'm so,
42, 24, if you put the numbers around
yeah,
42, 24, it's
it's like
somehow
double
it's like double. So we're
somewhat.
talking to
Yeah,
category of people, right? Different
absolutely,
generation, right? Uh,
absolutely no.
yeah. What do you think people from your generation and my generation can benefit from this podcast? Because it's going to be an ongoing podcast. What do you think?
Absolutely. No, honestly, like I think that the number one thing that the people could benefit, especially in my age group, is that I can tell everybody that is listening to this that finance is never taught in school. I can tell you guys that right now. Because I was in school. Maybe if you go finance in college, maybe that's the only thing. But I can tell you guys this that this is probably one of the things that is never taught in school, and a lot of people can learn and benefit from this. Not just in my age group, and I feel like in my age group, this is one thing that they never really teach. Even and this is not one of the things where you go drive and you see a poster, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're in the insurance space, and there's many insurances out there, especially Canada. Everything works with insurance, car insurance, mortgage insurance, and and life insurance, right? And and a lot of people, I feel like, especially in my age group, I feel like this is the best time for people to invest because while
Mm-hmm.
you guys are still young, if you start investing your time and money into this, and just get as much information as you can at this age, by the time you're 40, everything's gonna accumulate,
True.
right? As far as if you invest your money now, later on, you you probably have more than what you have, especially with inflation. And
Yeah.
that is one thing. And to be honest, like the people in my age group, they don't really focus about the future because all they want to do is party, have fun, do this, do that. And you know what? I think for me, that's why I learned this because I partied at the very young age, especially
Mm-hmm.
growing up in this culture in Canada. Like I partied at the very young age, and I'm just, I got tired of it. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired of partying. I think I just want to focus more on to what I can improve. And I think for my age group, that is honestly one of the things that people should focus on. Improve yourself into something. It doesn't have to be in this industry. It could be any industry, right? Because
Yeah.
I feel like in my age group right now is that people are just too focused on to what is now.
Mm-hmm.
They don't focus on what is tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
So
so
you mean our podcast is going to address some of these things, right? As we
Absolutely. No,
So we're going to talk more, seeing things from your own perspective and from my perspective, and we're going to have more guests joining us. Future podcast.
absolutely.
Talking about their experiences in the business, in the industry.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, we're hoping we'll get a good followership. I mean,
Yeah.
lots of people looking forward to the next episode, and as we continue and proceed on the podcast,
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely, man. Yeah, no. I think we're obviously gonna keep doing this podcast, obviously, and I think people will stay tuned, like as long as we stay consistent with anything, I feel like
Mhm.
it will attract, right? It's like a magnet. It's like this is your work, and then if you just keep doing it, the people here will attract it and more people will come. So
Yeah.
you know what, yeah, no, I think that is we're definitely gonna have people in here that is in the business, that are successful in the business.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, and part of me doing this podcast too is I want to share to the world out there. And I want to be able to reach to the people, and hopefully, if motivate them and inspire them
Yeah.
to do the things they want to do. So, and this is why I do what I do, man.
Yeah. So the insurance industry is one of the most liquid industry. Is one of the industry that will help other industries. And I'm really excited to be a part of this industry. I know lots of people don't believe in insurance, coming from the culture where most of us come from. People feel insurance is a scam,
Yeah,
and all of that. But, they need to understand the fine print. And I'm hoping that through the podcast, we're going to share more information, make people believe and understand that insurance contracts, how important insurance is in our day-to-day life,
yeah,
especially in the credit-driven economy. And we're looking forward to having an exciting podcast, you know.
absolutely, man. No,
Um,
absolutely. We have to start somewhere, and I think this is the start
yeah,
of this, and this is one of the things that, and part of this too is educating, right? Educating the people, educating the listeners out there. So yeah,
yeah,
no, I
great.
think this was a good podcast, man, and I think we're definitely gonna have more. And obviously, this is just the start, you know. And
Yeah,
well, we're obviously gonna touch more into more things.
yeah.
And I think we're about to wrap up our podcast right now. So, do you have any final thoughts on this podcast, like before we finish this podcast? Because I know you're a busy guy, you got things to do, and I also have things to do as well. So,
Yeah.
final thoughts for this podcast.
Well, I'm excited to partner with you. I'm excited to educate people. I'm excited to be a blessing to the world. Financial education is one thing that, like you rightly said, is not deeply taught in school. They just hit on the surface. But we're going to go deep into some of these topics that could help everyone. Based on statistics, over 70% of Canadians are coming back from retirement to work.
Oh
And
wow,
it's terrible. So we're trying to change the narrative. We're trying to help the next generation. And that's why I'm excited about this. Looking forward to
absolutely,
more episodes as we
absolutely,
go.
man. We're
Uh,
definitely gonna do that. Yeah, 70%. I didn't know that.
there's a lot
That
of the inflation going on in Canada, all of these things, it comes
yeah,
down to it's a terrible period, right? Coming back from the
yeah,
pandemic and trying to bounce off, interest rate going high every day, people are losing their mortgage. You know,
yeah.
uh, it's a crazy experience, and with proper financial education, it's gonna help more and more people become better, and that's the whole idea of this podcast. And we're hoping to help families.
Absolutely, man. No, that's good. Well, Ajiri, it was very nice having you here, man. We're definitely gonna have this podcast again, and we'll hopefully bring people in here, especially in this podcast, and get their insight in the business, in the industry, and maybe we get to pick their brain too to share to the world out there or to the listeners So, so yeah, it was really nice having you, man.
Same
We're
here.
we're gonna we're definitely gonna have this podcast again.
Same here. Have a good
So
one.
have a good one, man. Before we end this podcast, I'd like to say something first. Like I always end this podcast, guys. I want everybody listening right now to go chase your dreams, guys.